No, so I want to ask Radhika Ramaseshan. Admittedly, one part of Bharat Jodo would be to revive the Congress's fortunes, and they are an opposition party. They are in the electoral space. They are well within their right to do whatever they can to try and revive that party. But here is the problem, Radhika. We all know that in the next month or so, the Congress party is due to get its new president. The election dates have been announced, the result dates have already been announced. At such a time when the entire Congress's party's efforts, its attention should be who the next president is going to be. And certainly Mr. Rahul Gandhi should be throwing his weight behind whoever that next president is going to be. Attention is going to be deflected. Here in Delhi, you're going to elect a new party president, and then Rahul Gandhi is on this Bharat Jodo Yatra. I mean, at the very least, and this is the most charitable view one can take, this is just confused messaging.
Absolutely, Zakka. I mean, I think you framed the debate very well. There are two strands running through the whole debate. One is the Bharat Jodo Yatra, whose intention may be laudable. I'm not going into that. And the other is the impending organizational elections. They're probably underway to elect the next president. And time again and again, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has expressed his unwillingness, his reluctance to take on the post which he once held. Now, what is the purpose of the Bharat Jodo Yatra at this time? I mean, the issues that he has raised, namely inflation, divisiveness, a lack of communal harmony, unequal distribution of resources, crony capitalism. I mean, these were some of the issues that he raised in the Delhi rally. These can well be spoken of in Parliament. I don't think anybody is going to stop. He alleges time and again that the opposition is not allowed to speak in Parliament. But if the opposition is aggressive enough, they can surely raise these issues in Parliament. You can hold public meetings. It's imperative to hold, to start interacting with workers, to start interacting with voters, to start interacting with people in Gujarat, where the Congress has high stakes even now. 30%, a little over 30% votes. I mean, not to be sniffed at. Instead, you launch this yatra from the south, and then it is going northward. And so what is the subtext? The subtext is that Rahul Gandhi is being relaunched yet again. For what? I mean, I can't think of anything but to position himself as the next head of the Congress, despite his professed reluctance. Therefore, yes, the messaging is confusing, no doubt. And let me reiterate, the yatra's intent itself may be sincere, but what is very important, if the Congress wants to take on the BJP, is to craft a narrative that is weighty, that is credible, that is persuasive, and that is convincing. And on all these counts, the Congress has failed.
I'll get to this narrative in 1 second, because obviously, you need the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi, they need to tell the people of India, okay, these are the problems, fair enough, and this is what the Congress party is offering as solutions to those problems. Right now, we don't see any of those solutions, but be that as it may, Aishwarya Mahadev, very, very specific, and I think this is the most critical part of it. The next big assembly election is Gujarat, and Radhika is right. The Congress historically has been the principal opposition for the last 30 years, certainly in Gujarat. But now the Aam Aadmi Party is threatening to, pull the rug away from under the Congress's feet. And the Bharat Jodo Yatra does not go through Gujarat. I mean, what sense does that make?
So first and foremost, Zakka, I've heard both the previous speakers. I think when ma'am spoke about there's enough space in Parliament to speak about this, the number of suspensions of MPs that happened over the previous session, one. And when the speaker before her, when he speaks about, how the Congress party needs to fix itself and all of that, I think very well what is happening with the organizational elections are happening on their side. And the Bharat Jodo Yatra also, and Mr. Jairam Ramesh has made this emphatically clear, that this is not an electioneering platform, this is not a sloganeering electioneering platform? None whatsoever. The election preparedness in the in-charge state of Gujarat, Himachal, and even Karnataka, the work that has to be done is being done. Mr. Rahul Gandhi in this yatra, Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi also spoke about how he may hold no post. That does not matter. Common men have also joined this yatra, are willing to walk the length and breadth. And why are they doing this? He wants to speak and reach out to entire sections of society which have been underserved or been left out. Even in Karnataka, in the 22 days that he's traveling, he'll be going through tribal belts.
Aishwarya, I have a small intervention, but I think it's an important one. Can you today is the 7th of September, can you today with a degree of certainty say that Mr. Gandhi is going to contest to be the next president of the Congress party? Because if he is not, then all that he is doing is taking away attention from whoever the next president of the Congress party is going to be. I mean, this Bharat Jodo Yatra is going to be counterproductive to perhaps the most important election in your party in the last many decades.
Zakka, to be very honest, I would be happier and happy beyond a doubt, and I would like nothing better than Mr. Rahul Gandhi to contest these elections and come back again as the Congress president, because millions of us, including me, have been given an opportunity to represent my party on a national fora because of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. However, I think it is up to him, the choice, the leadership has spoken to him. And irrespective of what the elections are what the election procedure is, the electoral rolls are being prepared by themselves. Mr. Madhusudan has already spoken about what the process is. All of that will be happening. The elections, the PCCs, all the procedural work will happen as it has to. And Mr. Rahul Gandhi, however, is going to be on this yatra. And I do not think him and it's not just him, the number of leaders who have decided to walk this entire span of 3,000 odd kilometers is also massive. But none of that is going to come in the way or take away from the elections that are going to be held. That will happen simultaneously and happen to its side. And do not believe at any point.
Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, one of the things that the Congress keeps insisting is there is a certain inevitability to the Congress being the challenger to the BJP, because the Congress is the only opposition party that can challenge the BJP in multiple states. Many other opposition leaders may want to throw their hat in the ring to be the next Prime Minister, whether it's a Mamata Banerjee or a Nitish Kumar or a KCR. But a Trinamool's appeal is not there in a Madhya Pradesh, or a JDU's appeal is not there in Kerala. It's only the Congress party which has cross-state appeal, and therefore the only one in a position to nationally take on the BJP. So there is a certain inevitability is what the Congress is saying, that ultimately it has to come back to the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi to take on the BJP and Mr. Modi.
I partially agree to this statement, because yes, it's fact that howsoever small representation of Congress may be, in Uttar Pradesh they might have won only one seat, they might have got only 2-3% vote, but 2-3% vote is there. But Mr. KCR cannot have 2-3% vote in Uttar Pradesh. Mamata Banerjee cannot have 2-3% vote in Uttar Pradesh. Congress can have even 2-3-4% vote in all of the country. So I agree that if there can be a center of gravity or there can be a sheet anchor for the opposition unity, it can only be the Congress party. But the paradox is that the Congress party is forcibly trying to project Rahul Gandhi as the leader. How can you think that the stalwart leaders like Sharad Pawar, like Mamata Banerjee, Mulayam Singh Yadav, Lalu Prasad Yadav, even Akhilesh Yadav, Mayawati, KCR can accept Rahul Gandhi as their leader? So the fundamental paradox in the opposition unity is where the leaders are big, the party is not effective. Where the party is big, the leader is not effective. So they cannot come out of this, and in the 137 years of the history of Congress party, this is the worst period, not only in terms of number of seats, in terms of credibility.